Om Shri Rama Rama Ramedi Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. The repetition of the name of Rama is equivalent to the chanting of the whole of the Vishnu Sahasranama, or the 1001 names of Lord Vishnu. In this podcast, Vanamali is reading from her own book on the life of Sri Rama, known as Sri Rama Lila. May Lord Rama's blessings fall upon all those who listen to this with Shraddha and devotion, faith and bhakti. Hari Om. That's it. Canto 8. Trial by Fire. Turning to Hanuman, Rama told him to go to the grove of ashoka trees where Sita was sitting and give her the happy tidings. It is to be noted that despite his intense desire to see his wife, Rama did his duty to Ravana first. Before rushing to see her, as he must have wanted to do, he performed obsequies for his enemy, anointed Vibhishana as king, and then, only then, did he give in to his urgent wish to see his beloved. When Hanuman entered the grove, he found Sita in the same sad pose as she had been when he first saw her, a picture of despair and sorrow, for no one had told her of the happenings on the battlefield. He stood beside her with folded palms and said, "My lady, I have come with happy news. Rama has killed Ravana, and Vibhishana has been crowned king of Lanka. Rama asked me to bring these happy tidings to you." Sita was speechless with joy. Tears of happiness rolled from her eyes. Hanuman spoke respectfully. "My lady, I have spent many sleepless nights thinking of your pathetic condition, and now it is my good fortune to have been chosen by our Lord to bring you this joyous news. I ask your permission to do one more thing. Allow me to kill all these Rakshasis who have been harassing you for so long." Sita smiled and said, "Dear Hanuman, they were only servants obeying their master. Why should you kill them? Everyone has to reap the fruits of past actions. I must have done something in my past life to deserve this punishment. My rule is to show compassion and mercy to all, even sinners. No one is infallible. To err is human. Go and tell my husband that I eagerly await his arrival." Hanuman bowed humbly and departed. He told Rama the whole story of his meeting with Sita and that she was eagerly waiting for him. Rama's eyes filled with tears when he heard this, but he remained deep in thought. At last he sighed and told Vibhishana to ask Sita to have an auspicious bath and clothe herself in beautiful apparel and then come to him. Vibhishana conveyed his message to her, but she said, "I want my lord to see me as I am now." Vibhishana replied that it was his duty to obey Rama's commands implicitly and that he would not take her in that state. So Sita clad herself in silks and jewels and came to Rama on the palanquin that had been sent for her. He was lost in thought and sat with eyes fixed on the ground. The Vanaras crowded around, eager to have a glimpse of the one for whose sake so much trouble had been taken, and the whole race of demons annihilated. Vibhishana sent them away, knowing Rama would want to see Sita alone. It was not correct for the common populace to view someone of the royal household. Rama chided him and said, "A woman's protection should be her purity and chastity, and not a wall or a curtain. Let them stay where they are and see her if they wish. Let them gaze as much as they want on the beauty of the princess of Videha. Moreover, it's only right that she should see me surrounded by those who fought for her." Lakshmana was puzzled by Rama's strange behavior. He was sure that something was bothering him. Vibhishana brought Sita to where Rama was waiting. She felt as if her limbs would fail her, and she shrank into herself. Covering her face with her upper garment, she came near Rama and whispered shyly, "My lord." Tears choked her, and she could not utter another sound. Shyly she looked up at him, and her thirsty eyes drank in his beauty. Rama averted his face and spoke in an unusually harsh tone, saying, "I have accomplished what I set out to do. I have vindicated my honor and maintained the reputation of the fair house of the Ikshwaku clan. I have wiped out the insult that was given to me and killed the one who abducted you. Hanuman, who leaped across the ocean and destroyed Lanka, has been rewarded, as has Vibhishana, who left his brother and took refuge in me." Sita had been waiting for a year for this moment when her beloved husband would rescue her, take her in his arms and comfort her, and make her forget the trials she had suffered. She could not understand why Rama, who had never spoken harshly to her at any time, was now using this tone, or why he was narrating all these incidents. She looked at him with her fawn-like eyes, which were slowly filling with tears, and Rama's heart was torn with sympathy and love, but he knew he had to vindicate her reputation. Do not think that I fought this war for your sake. I did it only to preserve my name and honor. Since you have lived for 11 months in the city of Ravana, there is a great stain on your character. That lecherous wretch feasted his eyes on you and carried you in his arms. Rumors are rife about you, and I cannot take you back. You are now free to go where you wish, O Janaki. I can no longer bear to look at you. Your presence hurts my eyes like blinding light before sore eyes. Now that I have done my duty and rescued you, I owe you nothing more. I belong to a noble house, and it does not befit me to take you back. Having lived for 11 months in the house of a notorious womanizer like Ravana, do you expect me to believe that he would refrain from ravishing you, you who are so lovely and alluring? Hearing these cruel words from the mouth of her husband, from whom she had never heard anything but love, Sita swayed like a vine separated from its pole. Tears streamed from her eyes, and she looked like a wilting flower. To make matters worse, there was an interested and sympathetic audience to witness this painful scene. She had thought her heart had broken when Ramana abducted her, but now she realized it was nothing compared to this ordeal. At last she said in a faltering tone, "Why do you speak such harsh words to me? This is the talk of a common man to a woman of the streets, and you are not a common man, nor am I a woman of the streets. If you doubted me, why did you send Hanuman to search for me? Why did you not tell him that you had no further use for me? Why did you take the trouble to cross the sea and fight and kill Ravana? You risked your life and the lives of your friends by coming here. You could have saved yourself a lot of trouble, and I could have given up my life then and there, and then I would not have had to hear these cruel words. If I was touched by that sinner once, it was because I was too weak and helpless to protect myself. How can you blame me for that? Even after living with me for so many years, it looks as if you do not really know me. My thoughts and love have never strayed from you, even for a moment. I might be called Janaki, daughter of Janaka, but I am really Sita, daughter of the earth. Did you ever consider my exalted birth before passing judgment? Does my love and chastity mean nothing to you? If that were so, why did you come?" Saying this, she turned to Lakshmana and said, "Lakshmana, make a pyre for me. It is the only cure for the grief that is burning me more than flames. I have been falsely accused, and I do not want to live any more. My husband has publicly repudiated me and asked me to go where I wish. There is only one place that I can go, and that is the heart of a fire." Lakshmana looked angrily at Rama, who stood with his head cast down, still as a painted statue. Rama did not make any protest when Lakshmana went reluctantly to make the pyre. Sita circumambulated Rama and went towards the blazing fire. Standing with folded palms before it, she said, "If it is true that my thoughts have been set on Rama and never swerved from truth, then let this fire, which is a witness to all minds, protect me. My husband thinks I am tainted. If I am totally innocent, so may this god of fire protect me. If I have never been unfaithful to Rama in thought, word, or deed, let this god of fire protect me. If the earth and the sky and the four quarters and the gods believe that I am sinless, let this god of fire protect me." So saying, she went round the fire once and then flung herself into the heart of the conflagration. All the Rakshasis who were gathered set up a loud wail of protest. Wearing gold ornaments and yellow silk, Sita glowed like molten gold in the midst of the fire. Rama stood as if carved from stone, with face fixed to the ground. Though his heart was breaking, he did not do anything to save her, who was dearer to him than his own life. At that moment, celestials came down and spoke to Rama. "How is it possible for you to watch Sita immolate herself in the fire? Don't you know that you are Narayana, the primeval being, and Sita is Lakshmi, your eternal consort. You are Vishnu and you are born to destroy Ravana. Now your task is accomplished and Dharma is saved. As soon as Brahma finished speaking, Agni, the god of fire, stepped forward from the blaze with Sita in his arms. She was dressed in red, and even the flowers she wore in her lustrous dresses were unsinged. Here is your wife Sita, who is totally without blemish. She was never unfaithful in thought, word, or glance. Believe me and accept this jewel among women. Tears flowed unchecked from Rama's eyes, and he said, I know that my wife is as pure and chaste as unsullied snow. I never doubted her even for a moment. But if she had not undergone this ordeal of fire, people would have spoken ill of her and of me. They would have said that Dasharatha's son, blinded by love for his wife, was willing to take her back, even though she had lived so long in the house of another man. I know full well that Sita would have been totally protected by her purity. Ravana could never have sullied her. Sita is to me what splendor is to the sun. As a good man cannot abandon a good name, so also I can never abandon Sita. If I spoke harshly to her and watched unmoved when she entered the fire, it was only to vindicate her name in the eyes of all. So saying, he approached Sita and looked deep into her lovely eyes, as he had been longing to do. When Sita turned her reproachful, tearful lotus eyes to him, Rama chided her softly so that none could hear. O daughter of the earth, my beautiful Sita, how could you think even for a moment that I doubted you? Why do you think I trudged through the length and breadth of this country if I was not mad for a glimpse of your bewitching face? Why do you think I faced the wrath of the demon king and risked my life if I did not yearn for you, my dearest love? I did it so that none could ever point an accusing finger at you. Hearing this impassioned declaration, Sita was pacified and looked at him with all her love pouring forth from her eyes. Thus for a long moment they were lost to the world and gazed deep into each other's eyes, to the joy of all those who had assembled there. As they stood hand in hand, the gods brought Rama's father, Dasharatha, so that Rama could see him, and there was a happy reunion among the three. The celestials told Rama to return immediately to Ayodhya, for the 14 years were drawing to a close, and Bharata was awaiting his arrival with great anxiety. Jai Shri Ram.